Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. Past few videos I talked about how I'm trying to get over I don't know exactly how to word this. It's not like getting over a problem, but I guess I had to solve something in my life. I was putting way too much energy and time into something that was not meaningful to me. And it was a commitment, right? It was like I committed to this thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this for the next 2 years, and then thinking that it was what was best for me, right? And I had to get myself out of that situation. I had to be courageous enough to quit on a goal, right? And for me at least, it feels like quitting is weak. And I didn't want to do that for a while. And I was thinking that it was like, oh, I should do this, I should quit. And then I would like tell myself, no, you can't quit. You're too tough to quit. You're too tough to quit, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. And it makes you weak if you quit. You're a pussy. But like, if I'm doing something, spending so much of my time doing something that's not meaningful to me, and I could just open up that time by quitting and go do something meaningful, which is going to, the more time you put in, or time and energy you put into something that's meaningful, the more good you're going to do for the world, right? The more, like, here, let me just tell you exactly what I did, right? For me, I've been wrestling, right? I went to college to wrestle, went to this specific college to wrestle. I went to college to learn, but I went to this specific college to wrestle, right? I could have gone to any other college, but this one was for the wrestling. But I put 2 months in, 3 months in, practicing, working as hard as I can, and trying to fall in love with the sport again. I say again, but I don't think I was ever really quite in love with the sport. I enjoyed it through high school and before. I did it for 13 years before this point. So coming back to it, this would have been my 14th year. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to train really hard. I'm going to set some goals. I want to be an All-American. That was my goal. Be an All-American by next year before I left this college. And that just, it didn't mean anything to me. Accomplishing that didn't mean anything. Because what does it mean? What does it matter if I get a trophy, if I get a medal, if I place and stand on a podium? What does that do? What does that do for me? Like, the thing I really wanted to be doing was, like, I didn't have time to do, was reading and learning. And that's what I enjoy. I like reading about psychology. I like reading about philosophy. I like reading about neuroscience. And I can't do that. I don't have any free time, like, whatsoever. When I was, I had multiple practices a day, not every day, but it was 2 practices 3 times a week, and 1 practice 2 other times a week. So 8 practices a week. And then, of course, because I'm committed to it, I'm coming in early, and I was getting extra technique training in because I wanted to be, I'm an all or nothing type of person, right? Even if I don't enjoy, I wasn't having that much fun training, but I was going to say I'm going to do the very best I can at this. So yes, I was getting in a little more than I needed to, and I still find that cutting out that extra hour didn't make a difference. I'm not gonna, I mean, it helped. Maybe I was a little bit happier when I tried to take out that 1 extra hour, but when I saw how much happier I could be with just that little difference, and I was thinking, I mean, like what I'm saying is I'm trying to, or I'm getting rid of that time from wrestling, or that commitment from wrestling, so I can go read and learn and think more and have more clarity of thought, right? So because I took out that extra hour, I was able to think more clearly and have more time to think. And the more and more I thought and was able to think through what was on my mind. And of course, what happened to be on my mind was that, whoa, I feel way better when I'm wrestling less. And then I had more and more time to think. That developed into, why the hell am I wrestling? Because I know for a fact, I can't say for a fact, I know that at least for me and for many other, let's say, philosophers, psychologists, like in countless books I've read, I found that the happiest you can be is if you find your purpose for living, your purpose for life, what you want to accomplish in life, and then align every action and every goal towards that. So each morning I would wake up, write my goals down, write my purpose down. My purpose specifically is to help as many other people find meaning and peace in their lives, right? Because I want to become a psychiatrist. And of course, through this, also my YouTube, I try to give good advice that helps people find meaning and peace. I tell you guys what I do to find meaning and peace, and then also share information that I read from books, psychology, philosophy, neuroscience. But so I would write down my purpose, and then I would write down each of my goals that align towards that purpose. And there's some like get through 8 years of college to become a psychiatrist, and of course working on this YouTube channel, posting once a day so I could build a platform to spread good information to as many people as I possibly can. Those two things clearly align with my purpose, very clearly. Then my third goal was to become an All-American, and I don't know how I convinced myself that that was aligned to that purpose, right? But I think some of it was like, oh yeah, I'll be in great shape. And if you're in great physical shape, you're in great mental shape. And if you're in great mental shape, of course you're going to be able to help people better. You're going to be able to perform better if you're in great mental shape. But just because I'm in great physical shape doesn't mean that I couldn't be in great physical shape with less time put into training. Like, I was already in great physical shape, good enough physical shape to be in peak mental shape before I left for wrestling. And because I went to start wrestling, I had less time to put into strengthening my mind in particular. And that even though I was in better physical shape because of wrestling, I was in worse mental shape. I had worse cognitive function. I understood less of what I read, of what was taught in class, of just conversations that I have with people. I was less present. My brain didn't work as well because even though I thought, oh yeah, I'll be in such good shape, I'll be so healthy. I don't think I'm healthier now. I might look healthier and appear healthier physically. I might be able to perform better physically, run a faster mile, right? Whoop someone's ass in a wrestling match better than I could whoop their ass before. But again, those things don't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean anything if I can run a fast mile. It doesn't mean anything if I can win a tournament. It doesn't mean anything if I can squat 300,000 pounds. It doesn't matter that much to me. What matters to me is helping other people and helping pull people out of depression. And I just enjoy learning about psychology and philosophy and neuroscience. Again, those are the three big subjects that for me, of course, I like other subjects, but those are the ones I'm going to keep bringing up. But that's what I enjoy. That's what feels meaningful to me, and to just purposely not be doing those things because I want to feel tough, and I want to feel like I'm, I don't know, some badass that's going out there and training with a team that's probably going to win nationals this year. Why does it matter? That was clearly a goal set by my ego and not a goal set by me. To become an All-American was not a goal set by me. And it just doesn't align with my purpose. No matter how much I try to trick myself into thinking that it aligns with my purpose, it doesn't align with my purpose. I want to help. I don't want to help a lot of people find meaning and peace in their lives. I want to help as many as I possibly can find meaning and peace in their lives. And so if my goal or if my purpose was to help a lot of people, then yes, I could wrestle. I could still wrestle and put all that time and energy into that and help a lot of people in my lifetime. I committed to 2 years of wrestling, right? That's what I said I was going to do in my head, right? And after those 2 years, I'd still have a long life to help a lot of people. But I want to start, or I want to help as many people as I can. So I want to start learning as much as I can right this second. Right now is the best time to start working towards that. It is what makes me happy. And of course, again, I'm going to help much more people in the long run if I just get as much like good information into my mind as possible. And I can't do that when I'm like burnt out from practices, when I don't have time after practice, and all these other reasons that are excuse me, along the same lines, right? But it's essentially wrestling just makes it so I don't have time to learn, and my brain's not as good at learning because I'm tired, because I'm stressed, because whatever other reason. And I really just needed to make that jump, make that leap of faith, and have the courage to be a quitter, right? It sounds so like opposite of good advice. It sounds like bad advice. Oh yeah, have the courage to be a quitter. Like that seems weird. That seems like something that nobody would tell you. But I feel like it is very good advice in specific situations, of course. And it can be incredibly difficult. You do have to be incredibly brave to quit on a commitment, and you can't let your pride and ego like get in your way. It is a difficult process. It did take me a lot of thinking through and talking to my family, my relatives, my girlfriend about it, to not work up the courage, because I was going to do it regardless, but for me to make it easier on myself, right? I had to talk it through and develop my thoughts and ideas and how I was going to actually approach my coach, talk to him, and tell him the bad news, right? And like, it was just not, it's not something that's easy, essentially, is what I'm saying. And you do genuinely need courage to do it. You also want to know that it's the right thing to do before you do it, right? So again, like I said, I took genuine time and care and deep thought into this decision. So I'm not saying go quit something without knowing that you want to quit, and not like, because a lot of times you could just want to quit because something's hard. You want to make sure that that's not the reason you're quitting. You're not quitting because it's hard. You're quitting because there's something you could do, some other way you could be spending your time better. And so I just don't want you guys to take this advice the wrong way. Like, genuinely put thought into it. Put thought into everything you do, really. But things like this, where you're either committing to something or uncommitting to something, those are big decisions, right? Big decisions you got to think through. So I guess usually I don't do videos like where I go so in depth on my life and my decisions. I often go a little bit in depth, but this video was like 13 minutes of me talking specifically about me. But I'm sure you guys can still get something out of this video and understand that there is a lesson to be learned, even if it's not me saying what you should be doing and you're just learning from my example, my life. I think there's still value in it. So I appreciate you guys for watching. And what piece of advice do I have? What small thing can I leave you off with? Just understand that sometimes you're gonna set goals for yourself, or well, you might set goals for yourself that don't align with your purpose because you have other desires that come into your mind, and other desires that are more ego driven. Like for me, winning not winning national championship, but my goal was to become an All-American, and that is clearly an ego driven goal, in my case at least, because, well, like I said, my purpose has nothing to do with that, and it was simply for me to prove something or to feel tough. Whatever it was, I didn't dive into exactly what caused me to create that goal so much that I know the exact precise thing. But just pay attention to your goals and why you set those goals, and make sure you're not spending all your time and energy working towards something that's not really going to get you any good in the long run. Even if it seems like, of course, wrestling seems like a very productive goal to be working towards. Becoming an All-American seems very productive, and you can convince yourself very easily that it is productive. And it's certainly more productive than a lot of other things, but there are better things you could be doing. So, again, this is just my example, but use what you learned from this to shape it to your own life, and try to think of something that you've had to quit in the past. Maybe relate it to yourself in some way so you can use this information better in the future. Like, yeah, trying to taper it to fit your needs. Go ahead, learn from this, learn from my lessons, learn from my failure. But I don't think this is a failure, because I don't know, I learned from it. I learned not to set goals with your ego. I learned to be careful of and pay attention to why you have that goal. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Have a good day.